Hi everyone, it's Miss Rebecca. Today we're going to create this gingerbread house inside a landscape. So you will need a lot of different colored pencils. Okay, begin by drawing a rectangle in the middle of your paper. Leave space around the rectangle so that we can create the hills and the background. So this is a rectangle. It has 2 long sides and 2 short sides. Now we're going to create the door using another rectangle. And remember, it's 2 long sides and 2 short sides. We're going to create 2 more rectangles for the windows right beside the door here. So create your 2 windows and your door inside your house here. Right above the door, I want you to draw a square shape. This is for another window. Okay, and then you should have something that looks like this. Okay. So now we're going to create 2 diagonal lines on the top of your rectangle for the roof. And then we're going to create a chimney with a rectangle shape. And make it pretty high up there. It should be almost to the top of your paper. We're going to create a walkway or a sidewalk with 2 diagonal lines that start at the door. Now we're going to make this curve. The curve goes on the top of the roof and then curves under like a little U shape. So it curves around the roof and creates this little U shape here. And that's going to make it look like there's snow on the roof. Okay, now we're going to erase this part of the chimney because we can't see it since the snow is in front of the chimney. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on top of the windows and doors. So create this curve with a little bump and a little bump to connect it to the door, and a curve on the top of this window with a little bump and a little bump to connect it to that window. Curve around the top of that window and make your 2 little bumps to connect it. And the last window's on top. Curve around the top and make these little bumps that connect it to the window. There we go. Okay, we're also going to create these curves, the same idea, at the base of your house. So these are little candies or gumdrops, little bumps at the bottom of your rectangle. Okay, and you can curve the bottoms if you like, or they could stay straight. There we have our curves. Now, there's a lot of curves in this drawing, so we're going to stick with it and continue with our curves. So if you have a little erasing to do, go ahead and erase where you need to. So just clean it up if you can by brushing off the excess eraser marks. There we go. Okay. Oh, I forgot, the top of the chimney also has the curve that connects with these 2 little bumps. Now, we're going to make this wavy line here. It's just 1 bump, 2 bump, 3 bump, and it follows the line of the roof. Okay? And then we erase that diagonal line. You don't need it anymore, so just erase that diagonal line. You don't need it. And now it looks like our gingerbread house is covered with snow or icing. So we're going to make those curves and bumps the exact same way here. And you have to erase that line there. You don't need it anymore. We're going to repeat that curve or that wavy line on all of the arches that we just created towards the bottom. There we go. If you could fit one, that's great. See, I'm only fitting one here and one here, one curve there. And then I'm erasing what I don't need here. So it looks like now the windows and doors, the roof and the chimney are all covered with icing or snow. Okay, so now we're going to create some circle shapes. When I make a circle, I like to make two curves that connect and then kind of sketch around my circle until it's circular enough. So I'm adding this little donut shape here with a little door handle there. And you see these circles I'm going to add up here right above the windows? These are going to be little candies. So right above the window, just add a circle and go round and round. I'm going to add a circle here. Okay, so now I'm going to start with my diagonal lines to create this candy here. So each circle will get two diagonal slanted lines on each side, like arrows pointing towards the circle. And then close it off with this little wavy line. So this looks like a candy with a wrapper. Okay, so it's a wavy line connecting these two slanted lines, these two diagonal lines. Okay, there we go. So I have three candies on top. And now I'm going to make a little bow here, doing the same thing, adding my two diagonals and then my two little bumps. So it looks kind of like the door has either a donut or a wreath on it. Okay, and there's the tails of the bow there. All right, now inside each window gets a vertical and horizontal line just to show that it has a window pane. There we go, put that. And there's three windows, so we're doing that 3 times. It's just a plus sign. There we go. Okay, now what do we have to do here? We're going to add all the peppermint. So all the peppermint is that red and white candy. Here we go. I'm going to add a stick of peppermint on the side of the door with diagonal stripes going throughout. So it's just 2 little lines going vertical up and down next to the door, and it's just the stick part, so I'm going to make these diagonal lines through that. Okay, at the top here at this line we're going to make a peppermint as well, so you're just doubling up the horizontal line and then making those diagonal lines there. Now here's a trick. At the base of the sidewalk or the walkway, we're going to make a whole candy cane. So it's going to be a vertical line coming up and then curving around like a hook. Okay? And they're going opposite directions. Just double it up so that you have that upside down J, letter J, and then add your stripes. So inside, when we color, it'll go red, white, and so on. So we're just adding those stripes onto our candy canes. There we go. Now on the side of that gingerbread house, let's create a few trees, or 2 trees, a couple of trees. So you're making this big triangle shape, and it doesn't have to be a perfect triangle. It could be curved a bit. You notice mine are curved a little bit, but it has the 3 sides and they point upwards, like 2 arrows pointing up. Now inside these, I'm going to make the letter U. So this is a detail inside the tree. It's just a curve, and notice that the curve looks like the letter U, and it's a large U and a small U, and it just kind of alternates. Big, small, big, small, big, small, and I'm just making this pattern of curves throughout the tree here. Okay, and I'm going to repeat that on this tree. It's like a U, and it's small, large, small, large, small, and you're just repeating it across the tree. You're just going across and making these bumps. So it's bump, 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 lots of bumps. lots of curves, just connecting them till you get to the bottom of your tree and you're all set. Okay, looking pretty good. For the background, well, first let's define some of this here. We could add circles here to make it just a little extra sweet. So I just added a little bit to the top just to fill in that space. Okay, I'm just outlining over so you guys at home can see it a little better. So I'm just outlining over what we already did. And then on the side of the house, you can add this little wavy detail, this little wavy line detail. And you can put these little details, these circles and wavy lines anywhere on your gingerbread house to make it, to design it your way. In the background, we're just going to make 2 curves on each side of the house, and then we're going to do another set of curves above that. And notice I'm putting 2 on each side now. And it's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to outline it a little bit more. And now I'm going to lay it flat because now is time to color. So in the background, we're going to start from the top and then go down. In the back here is where the wind is. So you make those wavy lines with a blue. Kind of implies that it's windy, it's cold, because I'm using this cool blue color. And I'm going to fill in all of this wave here. I'm going to skip a space and leave it white, and then make my next wavy band here, filling it in with light blue. Now, of course, you don't have to do this way. If you have another way, go for it. Just giving you an example of how you could do it to make it look like a cold, snowy day. And this is the background here. Everything behind and around the gingerbread house is the background. Okay, I'm just filling it in with my blue. Now in the white spots, in the white parts here, I'm going to start making these swirls. I love making spirals and swirls to imply wind. This just implies a cold breeze, a gusty wind. You just make a wave and connect it with a spiral. Or you could just do a straight spiral like that. See, I like these spirals, they're fun. I just fill in all this white space. Look at this big spiral here. Fill it in, make a wave, connect it to a spiral. There we go. Now you can add little dots to represent snowflakes. You could always do your snowflakes your way. It's up to you. And then I'm good with that background there. Now you could change to black. We're going to outline all of the snow caps connected to this gingerbread house with black. So I want you to carefully outline around all of these tops. So you have a top to your chimney, a rooftop, and then you have all the tops of the windows and the top of the door. So we're going to outline all of that with black. There we go. Looking good. And this little detail on the side you can outline with your black. Okay. And then we're going to do a little shading. So if you take your black pencil and you just lightly, don't put too much pressure on your pencil, just kind of lightly make this little gray shade on the top of your little snow caps or your icing here. Gives it a little bit of dimension, or gives it a little bit of volume, or a little 3D quality. So try it out. Just make sure you don't press too hard on your black pencil. Okay, it should be light. Now we're going to outline all of the black parts of the window and this is a little window trick. You add these diagonal slashes through the window. So I'm going to show you again here on these windows. Outline it with black, outline the middle, outline all that part with black, and then you're just slashing diagonally in the same direction. And it kind of looks like, oh, now there's definitely a window there. So now I'm outlining around the hills in the background with the black. And you could do that same shading technique where you just lightly take your black and shade from the outline down and give it a shot. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to, just leave it white. But these are supposed to be the snow caps, so there we go. Looking good. Let's change to red now. Now, starting at the top, I always like going from top to bottom. I'm just going to make it look like there's a giant candy cane chimney, so I'm making those red stripes. And all the candy cane parts we're going to fill in now with red and white. So it goes red, white, red, white. Remember, there's those two there. There's two here on the side of the door. So red, white, red, white, red, white. It's that pattern outline around that peppermint stick. And you're doing that pattern, that same pattern. Now inside this red is a nice red bow. Okay. And then we have one last set of candy canes. So I'm just going to outline them and then do that red and white pattern where you fill in every other stripe. Red, white, red, white, red, white. Just like that. Red, white, red, white. Keep going, make it nice. Stay inside the lines. Alright, now moving back up to the top, I'm going to make these little detail circles here all red. But the candies with the wrappers, I'm going to pick different colors. So I'm going to do this one with green. So I'll outline the whole candy with green. And then maybe I'll just put some stripes on it. You could do whatever you like. You could fill it in, you could put polka dots. Then I'm going to change to orange. You could also use any colors you like. You don't have to use these colors. So I'm doing the same thing, some stripes. And the last color I'll pick is blue. Just outlining the circle and the wrapper part. And then I'm going to put in those same stripes just to look like it's candy. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. So these gumdrops, I'll just match the colors. You don't have to match the colors. You could use yellow or pink, whatever you have. But I'm just going to put the green, orange, and blue just to kind of match it to the top candy. So there it is. All right. So go ahead and fill it in. Take your time. And this is a wreath, so I'm just going to fill it in with green. But if you want to make it a donut, go ahead and make it a donut. Okay. Now, the trees. Outline your trees with green. And here's a little trick. We're going to make it look like there's snow on these trees. So what we'll do is fill in the bottom until you get to those U shapes. And then on the next row, you're just filling around the bottom of that U pattern. So you notice I'm just going around the bottom of it. I'm not filling in the whole thing. So you just go around it and it makes it look kind of like there's snow on the tree. That's what I'm going for. Okay, looking good. Go around and around. And we're going to do that again on this side. Okay, fill in around the bottom of these U shapes. Colored pencils, it takes more time because it really makes you work your hand. So if you need to take a break, go ahead and take a break, because I know this is a lot of work for your hand. All right, we're almost there. The last thing is the brown. Because this is a gingerbread house, it's made out of a cookie. So everything around the window is brown, but be careful not to color the white snow cap part or the candy with your brown. Just go around all that good stuff and color in the rest of the house. So we're going around all this candy, I'm going around my peppermint stick, and around this little rooftop here. And right underneath that roof and around this window. It's all brown. All right, we're almost there. Okay. Inside this walkway, I'm going to make it a chocolatey walkway. So this will be all brown. Yes, it will. And there we go. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? All right, I'd love to see what you do on Google Classroom. Post your work. Thanks, guys.